Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're doing a top 10 PvP legend tier list, breaking down the best PvP characters, or legends, I should say, that have come for your PvP banners. Now, with the release of like a treasure map legend every month, Kazuna map legend every month, PvP legend every month, I thought, let's do some top 10 lists, sort of break down these game map exclusives, game mode exclusive legends, to see which ones you kind of want to hunt down and which ones are more worth your summons when they are boosted on particular banners. Now, these particular characters, honestly, like PvP banners, they do have value in summoning. You play PvP every single day. Now we have Super Pirate Rumble as well as Grand Party, so having some of these characters is going to help you guys out building a multitude of different teams. And obviously, we are just ranking all these characters purely on PvP value. We're not taking them into the rest of the game. Who cares about them in the rest of the game, honestly? It's purely about how good they are in PvP. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. With that said, let's put a tier list for PvP Legends. Alright, so I think I have all of the PvP Legends on this tier list. Shout out to Fire Tank Pirates, who I forgot on my Kazuna version of this particular tier list. If you guys want to go check them out as well, go check that out. The videos should all be up on the channel. I don't know how I'm sort of releasing them and stuff like that, but we will obviously be doing a top 10 situation for all the game mode exclusives, including Super Sugos, Anniversary exclusives, and stuff like that. So this is what we have here. As you can see, I do have a top 10 listing here, and we're going to break them down. So starting in at number 10, I haven't really given like the top 10 a lot of thought. I was just going to kind of like wing it, going off for like what I see. So I might chop and change things around, just like the treasure map one. I'm pretty like solid on like what my top 10 looks like. Sorry, my top 5 looks like. But in terms of what my top sort of 10 looks like, it's a bit of an issue. And obviously this comes with an asterisk, as Kuma is about to get a 6+, the first PvP legend to get a 6+. So he might be actually skyrocketing. And like, yes, I know people are probably going to say Akainu 6+ is the first one, technically, now that he's a PvP character. But I do think that the true PvP legend is Kuma. So I'm going to start it off here with, coming in at number 10, I'm going to bring in S-Shark. S-Shark on release for me was a lot of fun to use. He's based around fighter characters, which is the biggest downside. Obviously, he does Dex as well. So you can build some fun, like, fighter Dex builds, and he gets really nice buffs there. And realistically, he's just basically a nerfed version of Enmazoro. Enmazoro is an absolute demon on Free Spirit teams for what he does defensively. This guy really doesn't hold a candle to that, but on paper, kind of, like, tries to do the same thing. So, coming in number 10, I'm going to bring in S-Shark. I do think he's very, very good. I just, like, when it comes to offense, like, these Stolia-based characters are just, they're a little bit hard to use. Coming in at number 9, oh, man, I don't even know if I want to put Kuzen on this list. I don't know if I do, like, because technically this guy's 20 cost legend now. We're going to bring in Apu. Apu is very nice on int-based teams, but for me, he's kind of fallen off. The reason I do like him, though, is he brings CD reduction for the int team, and that can be very, very valuable in getting characters like Blackbeard off early, getting characters like Luffy off early, and even characters like S-Hawk off early. He's not a bad character. Obviously, he was great on that sort of driven int kind of build that was floating around, but nowadays he doesn't really have a solid staple place in the front line like he used to. But he's still he's still a good unit, honestly. Like he's still a pretty good unit. Bringing in at number 8, I'm going to bring up Enel. Enel is the very first PvP legend, and the fact that you can still run him on side-based teams is actually really, really good. He is a very low cooldown special. He brings a lot of speed. He does a little bit of damage. The downside to him now is that Sai are trying to work towards like more like free spirity builds or like more cerebrally based builds, and he kind of doesn't fit the candle for any of those teams. However, you can just throw him on the bench now that he's another, like, now that he is a 20 cost legend, and you can do some fun stuff there. Just like Kawamatsu, who I have actually forgotten on this list. Give me 1 second. I knew I'd forget someone. Just like and although like Kawamatsu can be used as a bench option, I don't rate Kawamatsu. I never have. He's definitely a character that I'm not going to be including on today's tier list. He's just bad in my opinion. He's just definitely not a character that is ever really showing that much value within the meta. Moving in at number 7, I'm going to bring up the latest legend for PvP, Fuji and Greenbull. Honestly, Fuji and Greenbull on paper, like, they didn't really impress me. But using them in practicality as like a solid staple of a middle slot for a slasher team can be very, very valuable. And this allows you to sort of bring an extra legend on the team. and build out a more slasher-centric bench. Obviously, you do have characters like Brook, and you have Law, and you have Cat Viper that can also satisfy the slasher niche for PvP rare recruits. But this guy actually has really good healing. Your action binding is really, really good when you go up against particular teams. And you can do some pretty fun stuff there. So, interesting character. Nothing like too crazy crash hot, but a very good character nonetheless. Next, we've got Akainu, the, I guess, technical first 6+ PvP legend. Akainu is exceptional on the bench. I can just throw this guy on shooter teams. I can throw this guy on strength teams. I can throw this guy on dex and quick-based teams as well, because he does buff them as well. Not that like he's a go-to for that, but just having that versatility to kind of come in and be a buff for 3 different colors is very strong. He's got great damage over time. Obviously, at level limit break 5, he's going to do more. Or level limit break 4, I think. And he's very, very good. He just made the strength team a lot better, in my opinion, because you can kind of funnel out the back end of that bench. Speaking about strength now, yeah, I think I've in my head I've locked in the top 5. Talking about strength, coming in at number 5 is Kuma. If you guys want to chop and change these two around, like, go for gold. But I've found that Kuma has had really good value in the front lines of strength. Honestly, now I'm thinking about it, Kuma's probably 4th. Yeah, we'll come back to Kuma in a second. I'm going to bring up York. York is interesting. York is like a better version of this guy right here, in my opinion. Nowhere near as what Enmazora is doing, but she provides a counter-based mechanic. Does a lot of damage in terms of reflection and shielding, but the problem with Int is they have so many characters that already have a provoke ability, have so many characters that already have a counter-based ability, and if you try and throw on a driven team, you have even more characters that are doing like Big Mom Katakuri as well as Sandra Wolf. So she's very nice, and she's a good character, but she does want you to have, like, to really use her. She does want, like, a full cerebral, driven, and int-based team, which can be very, very hard to build, and honestly, like, really doesn't exist at all right now. She's good, but not anything super crash hot, and Int just kind of, they're okay without her. Going back to Kuma, I think Kuma's value in the front lines can be useful. Most of the time, you will be using him off the bench. I'm really interested to see where his 6+ goes with this character, because they've just given Kuma so many buffs in recent times. He used to be really dog shit. Like, he used to do, like feather damage. He only hit 1 unit. It goes through defense, but, like, that was, like, his big claws at the time, and then we had other characters that just did it better. But overall, he's just very good. Like, he's a very, very good unit. And strength teams really need the back end of the bench to shine. And for stuff like super PvP and whatnot, you can kind of build out, like, I used this Akainu, this Kuma, and then the new Luffy on the bench. And I would just go up against teams that would just blow me out of the water very early, have these 3 characters in, and then just return the favor, but have so much stability that you just win me the fight. So, Kuma's great. Going through defense for 2 units, hitting characters as well before that, and in the last 30 seconds is very, very strong. Can work on shooter teams, just like Akainu can on the bench, and you can do some pretty fun stuff there. Looking at... Oh, hang on. I've definitely overcooked here. I've definitely overcooked, because I've got 4 characters left and only 3 slots. So, what we're going to do is, we're just going to... Honestly, I like S-Shark more than I like Apu, even though in teams are better. So, we're just going to shuffle all of these characters down by 1. We're just going to shuffle them all down by 1. Next is Raizo Shinobu. Raizo Shinobu are fantastic. However, they do sort of fall more into the claws of a shooter-based team. They're just built around shooters, which is like their biggest downfall in my opinion. They can work on strength teams. They can work on slasher teams. Mainly because their defensive buffs that they give are for everyone. And that triggers when they take damage. So you can throw them in the middle slot, they take damage, they give defense to everyone, and then their special can action binds and just cause a lot of havoc that way. But now we've just like had other characters that are either just better action binders that just fit on the teams that you would normally throw this character. Like obviously the slasher characters you would just use like this guy now. And on strength, like you're just not really running that, to be honest, because strength is just built up around damage. But Raizo Shinobi for the shooter team is just like a must bring. They provide so much in terms of cooldown reduction. They do pretty solid damage too. 2,000 fixed damage, I think it's 5 times, which can obviously bink a bunch of units if it hits the right character. So they're a fantastic, just overall legend. The downside is they're built around a team that just does struggle, even though like it has a lot of support. It just still struggles in the meta. Moving on to the top 3 now, we're gonna bring up Smoothie. Smoothie is aging like goddamn fine wine. Smoothie just works great on like a powerhouse bench. She works great on a quick bench. She works great in the quick front lines. Now that she's 20 cost as well, that special rollback with cross guild and that sort of quick slasher build or that quick driven build that you can put together, Smoothie is just always finding a home on that team. And she's kind of like holding together the quick build with other powerhouse characters like Blackbeard and Kaido and all those types of units too. Ironically, other characters that are just better than her, like in terms of passively on paper, don't hold a candle what she does because of that damage she can put out, and the rollback is so damn nice on quite a very fast cooldown. So she's very, very good. A must bring for frontline quick teams, but if you're trying to do other stuff with quick, she's always going to find a home on the bench as well. Moving in at number 2, you guys can pretty much guess my top 2 now. We have the 2 Seraphims. We've got S-Bear. S-Bear is absolutely fantastic on both Cerebral teams, as well as, not Cerebral teams, Shooter teams, and Side teams. The upside that S-Bear has compared to Raizo Shinobu is that S-Bear can float on a bench on, say, like a Free Spirit team and work really, really well to sort of stall out teams within defensive makeups. But in the front lines of a Psy-based team, this guy is like a must-bring. He has the ability to force out on a very low cooldown. He can do damage. He's got a great passive. And Psy basically need him. Psy, like without him, like Psy teams, they're just not doing much. And he's just kind of like your overall core for what that team wants to do. So very, very powerful unit. And obviously Forced Out's one of the most powerful mechanics in the game. But something that's more powerful than Forced Out, and obviously shout out to these rejects down here. Something that's more powerful than Forced Out is just straight damage that goes through defense. And you guys knew this was coming. S-Hawk is the top of this list. No one does what S-Hawk does. In terms of these PvP legends, I should say. Obviously, like, the new Luffy tries to do what S-Hawk does. The Strength Luffy does what S-Hawk does, but no one does it on a 20 cost limit. And S-Hawk is on a 28-second cooldown. He goes on the in team, he goes on the slasher team, he goes on the driven team, he goes on literally any bench that you can use him. Like, my Free Spirit team, for example, is like all Free Spirit, and then it's like 5+ Kuzan, the Pirate Festival, Brook, and then S-Hawk, just because I have the extra slot, and then like he kind of synergizes well with that bench a little bit. So obviously one of the most broken PP units we've ever seen. Definitely worth 150ing, limit break spending, all that fun stuff, because he's just an absolute demon across the board on so many different teams. But that's my top 10. Yeah, not much really else to say about these particular characters. Obviously, PvP, like I said, it's a game mode you play every day, and something you do want to summon on, honestly. Like, the big 3 banners that I see, like, the most value, you've got Super Sugos and Anniversary exclusives, you've got PvP banners, and then you've got Super Boss Kazuna. Like, the 5 multis on that Super Boss Kazuna banner to try and get up a new unit, or 5 multis for a recommended character on these PvP steps, they're going to be very, very valuable, especially, like, for example, like the banner that's out right now that has S-Hawk on it. Like, that's a banner that you want to throw for at least a discount on to try and just test your luck to see if you can pick him up. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Is there any other characters you'd bring up? Maybe you're a fan of Apu, maybe you're a fan of your Rogue or your Orochi. What's his name? Kawamatsu. I don't know, man. But, like, for me, those characters kind of sting. As for these bottom characters too, like, they're all still very good in their own right, but like if you compare like these top 3 characters to the rest of them, we've just kind of gone backwards, if I'm being honest. Like, but that's just me sort of breaking it down in a nutshell. But like I said, let me know in the comment section below. Way down there, belt like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Loads.